Yes, okay. This is VJME, live in the studios from Wakari, Uganda. Get ready. Raymond Film Productions. Tiger Mafia. Super Kicker. Who's the bitch? You. Kaliba. Around. That's my wife. Wife? I thought that is a god. The movie's on. Lava Murilo.
Despite me holding a great number of movies very near and dear to my heart, none come as close to perfect as Uganda's first action-packed movie, Who Killed Captain Alex? This is a video I've been waiting to do for quite a while now. The third and final movie alongside Kung Fury in the Room to complete the holy trilogy of entertainment. Originally I planned to make this video earlier, however it kind of got pushed back a little bit because we were planning on watching it for Ion's Pricks Watchcast. By that point I had pretty much forgotten a good portion of what had happened in the movie, so I would be ready to do a rewatch. Okay, so being shot gave her amnesia. And being able to see it again was like a gift from God himself. Some of the vague things that I remember came back to me, as well as some minor events that made the experience even better as a whole. That video is now up on Ion's channel, so feel free to check it out. But before we talk about why this movie is an absolute masterpiece, I feel it's important that we know the background of everything that went into it. So, let's get into that. The man behind this amazing movie is Nabwana I.G.G, and really, I gotta give props to this guy. The guy's essentially an underdog trying to put this project together in a country with limited resources and a budget of $200, as well as being edited on a computer he made from old parts, all while pushing forward despite all these issues to deliver a movie based on his love of martial arts and Hollywood action movies. And that's one of the reasons why I have a fondness for this movie. The fact that it was made by a man with a dream, with everything against him, and he still managed to deliver his vision to the world is just incredible. This is a passion project from everyone involved, and I have a very deep respect for that. So, now with that background done, I guess it's time to talk about To begin, I will say that I have a very fond respect for this movie because right at the beginning, it nails what it wants to be. A gloriously over-the-top piece of entertainment. And this energy is kicked off by one of the best one-liner energetic narrators ever in the history of film, VJME. VJME is what is known as a video joker. Someone who translates the dialogue of a film while adding in their own jokes and commentary. By itself, this movie is already entertaining enough, but with
VJME on the microphone!
It just brings it to a whole other level. Even when the movie itself calms down, this man just keeps on going. And more often than not, he'll find a good one-liner to put in there as well.
I love it. Part of Africa. Don Patton. We love Don Patton. Everybody in Uganda knows Kung Fu. Nice bounce. She was caught watching Nigerian movies.
Whenever there's an intense action scene on screen, the dude gets really excited and just starts saying what is happening on the screen.
It's holding a dangerous weapon. More fire! The military is here! The panther meets the tiger.
He points out at various points in the movie that you are, in fact, watching the movie.
You are watching Who Killed the Captain Alex. Who Killed the Captain Alex is the movie. Action-packed movie. The movie's on. The movie's on. The movie's on. Movie.
He narrates the characters to say some of the most funniest out there shit I've ever heard, like an abridged voice actor.
Will you marry me? I prefer men. Mommy, I'm scared. I'm making German food. German food? Yeah, we found German tourists. We're cooking them. I'm ready to beat it. Let's beat the rat. Did you beat the rat? Did you?
I called it the piece of shit. ... Dragon shit, that is.
This man just brings so much charisma and pizzazz to his role, and it easily doubles the movie's quality because of it. It gets to the point where I don't think this movie would be nearly as memorable without him in it, and don't get me wrong, I definitely think it'd still be good, but VJ Emmy's video Joker inclusion is arguably the most memorable thing about Who Killed Captain Alex. So yeah, VJ Emmy is a worldwide treasure, and I cannot wait to watch more stuff with him in it. That said, there are a whole lot of aspects about this movie I like even without VJ Emmy. So much of the beauty from this movie comes from the fact that it knows what it wants to be and just rolls with it. It's loud, it's chaotic, it's crazy. And it knows that. The actors portray it, the directing portrays it, the writing portrays it. Who Killed Captain Alex wanted to be an action movie, and it soared. Because it aims for the thing that viewers grasp towards most, entertainment. Not unintentionally making it by accident while striving for something more complex and different than what was originally intended, but by giving them something simple, a good time, which is something we should all get at the movies. Additionally, the action is surprisingly good. I like the fact of how fast-paced it is and you can actually see the moves of the fighters play out. Especially when it comes to hand-to-hand fights, it actually looks a lot better than I first anticipated. It's no Raid Redemption or anything like that, but I will say it looks a whole lot better than most action movies where they just have the camera constantly cut away mid-fight. They also incorporate a lot of interesting moves, like this dude getting sandwiched in between this guy's legs.
Super tough mafia!
The movie is also comedically violent, which I think adds to its appeal. Whenever someone is shot, they add these fake blood splatter effects, which on top of VJ Emmy's narration, make the scene very funny. Also, fun fact, in order to stimulate gunshot wounds, they use squibs made from food coloring and condoms. That isn't really relevant to this topic, I just thought I'd share it with you. Speaking of effects, I honestly think the cheap effects really lend itself well to this film. As I said before, Nabwana and his crew only had a budget of about $200. And this movie does carry a very cheap feel to it, but it does it in a way that's rather charming. Them working with that kind of budget and resources to create a film of this nature is amazing by itself, really. Effects in the movie mix well with the general chaos going on, and with how wild this movie is, seeing these cheeky low-budget effects incorporated into this only boosts the amount of charm seen on screen. If the movie were to have a higher budget, I don't think it would be nearly as memorable or as endearing as it is today. Speaking of endearing, the final and probably most endearing part of this film is arguably the acting. In an action movie, usually two aspects you would want are energy and or charisma, which would naturally come from the actors. The cast of Who Killed Captain Alex delivers on this perfectly. Everyone knows what their job is, and more than fits the bill for it. My personal favorites have got to be Sasurinya Ernest as Richard and Bakinya Charles as Bruce Yu. I'm really sorry if I butchered those names, by the way. They are definitely the most memorable characters of their movie, with Bakinya doing some pretty cool stunt work, while Sasurinya goes absolutely bananas in his role. Now, if you want to be critical of the performances, you could say that the people in this movie aren't the best actors. And while there are moments of the film where you can clearly see that, the language barrier prevents it from being too noticeable. Also, the very genre this takes place in, that being an action movie, does not require the best amount of acting. Don't get me wrong, it's still important, but unlike movie genres such as horror or drama, action isn't as dependent on the actor in terms of, acting. Take Keanu Reeves, for example. Now, before you dislike the video, let me explain. I love Keanu Reeves. He seems like a very genuine and nice person. He's personally my favorite actor of all time, and I even made a video on him a while back. But when I think of Keanu Reeves, I don't think of serious dramas or anything like that. No, I think of Point Break, The Matrix, Speed, John Wick, all that good stuff. In roles like those, he doesn't need to show off these intense acting muscles, but rather fit the role he's given. That is what these guys are doing with this movie. You gotta appreciate the actor's hard work and commitment to bring a project like this to life. They know what they're doing, and they fit the crazy flow of this film, which is impressive in its own right. Genuinely in this film, it feels like everything was perfectly put into place, even despite the rough conditions. Everything from the acting to the effects, to the goddamn video Joker, fit together in a way that seems like a miracle, but was achieved by everyone working together to push forward to make something truly beautiful. To sum it up, this is my favorite film of entertainment of all time, and my second favorite film in general. Better than Kung Fury, and I know I'm gonna get flack for saying this, but it's better than The Room as well. I still love those movies, don't get me wrong, but this one is absolutely my favorite. Not just because it's non-stop entertainment, but because it means the most to me. You have a guy with this little resources, only moving forward because of his dream to make something, and have a product that turns out this good. That is one of the greatest achievements in all of movie history. And for young aspiring filmmakers like myself, it is truly one of the most inspiring things to look up to. So at the end of the day, I highly recommend you watch this movie. If you go in expecting something complex and deep, then this may not be for you. But if you just want to have a good time, chill, and laugh with some friends, I can think of no better alternative. Now with that done and out of the way, I'm going to give Who Killed Captain Alex the first and probably only score of A++.